he was wearing different clothes, but it keeps teasing to find out why he died, but that's not really why he died. Like, he borrowed some dude's shoes that are too big, that don't fit him, because he had to take his shoes off in this chase scene that's on top of the train, and they were following his footsteps from inside. They were listening to him. So he takes his shoes off, runs the opposite way down the train so he doesn't have shoes. Borrows shoes from this guy who gets him on a boat right now. He's about to go to his death. Especially when you see him walk in the bars, you're like, okay, now he's about to just drink himself. But no, he turns down the drink, then goes to the polling thing. Now you see him taking around all the pollings. This is why they're changing clothes. So there's all these different things, like literally, I've done research, I studied him in college, like I did in my senior paper on Edgar Allan Poe. So the thing is, there are like facts, and there are some theories, like Tom was like, well, one of the theories is that he has rabies. I'm mad wrong. That theory was off of someone reading something and taking it that he wasn't able to swallow water, which is when he's not able to swallow water, that's usually a symptom of having rabies. But apparently it was just that, like, they gave him water and he didn't necessarily want the water. So it was just something that was lost in translation, essentially. So there are more concrete theories, and I've taken all the concrete theories and woven them into one, and where every time you're about to think you're about to find out this is the reason he died, it keeps going on to something else through the whole third act.
What do you think?
Were you filming that?
Yeah, I'm filming it.
Once again, these are theories in your interpretation of all the theories and discerning which one is the best.
Well, there is one.
And you're going to create a lot of conflict and enemies by that.
Which is awesome. Because each one of their theories is acknowledged and expressed within it.
Okay, what sells better, thrillers, mysteries, or biopics? What's more going?
I think of this.
Biopics are hard to do. You've got to take creative license, and every time you take creative license for the sake of entertainment, you're opening yourself up to getting tied to the whipping post.
I agree.
That's the one. So if we take it in a picture within a picture, and we can address all those theories, but you do it through the eyes of a kid or a student, whatever, like yourself, doing your thesis paper, that's an interesting idea to me. It's something worth investigating. Because otherwise, big period piece, that's a $100 million piece you got to do on Poe, and I don't know if we got that audience. Am I wrong? I don't know.
I just don't.
I love what you're trying to do. No, I get what you're trying to do, but Poe's not Kennedy, and Kennedy that did well, but man.
Poe is Amadeus, and he's
Stone isn't allowed in places anymore because of what he said about the fucking trying to answer the whole Kennedy, all his theories.
I mean, as soon as you enter another character that's supposed to be like this vicarious, we're the spectator learning the story as this character is learning the story, it just completely, it's like, we're being told a story through a character being told a story, and how the fuck are we ever supposed to follow or believe or even care about anything that's going on? This could be something that is just completely found. We're twice removed. We're not once removed from thinking that we're watching a movie and we forget that we're watching a movie and we fall for Poe and feel something. We are watching a story that is a story of something that may have happened. And because there's that far much of a kind of a fucking removal from it as a spectator, it doesn't work. I'm just telling you, that's why Amadeus works and Dinotopia doesn't. Because it's not someone researching Mozart, like, how did Mozart really die? Oh, Salieri, like, it was really all Salieri. That's not the point. If you introduce another character, it distracts from Poe being the main character, which he is, although he isn't for the first 15 minutes. He's the main character who doesn't really say very much until you flash back, bam, pick right up in it, we're right into it. There's only one flash forward to the future in which you're reminded that he is on his deathbed after all. So, I mean, the real question you want to think is, how much is fact, how much is real? Because at the end, he says, like, it didn't work. I wasn't able to induce the trance. Everything he said was just pieces of his fiction, like, that he wove in with parts of fact. So, essentially, the whole movie is Poe going through his own fucking stories, which is hilarious, because then you never show her if anything I just tried to show you was me trying to tell you that this is real, or if I was just taking bits of his story, bits of fact, and I mean, because it ends with him in the fucking coffin, and his corpse, like, smiles. Like, he has, like, his smiling corpse, like, he finally has peace. Like, is he still alive? Like, maybe, like, that's probably the point where, like, you take things less seriously when you see it. So it's not like I'm trying to say, this is exactly how he died. Everything is acknowledged. And I'm saying this is probably how he died. Like, this is how I'd like to think, but it's still, you acknowledge the fact that it is fiction is the most important part. Because everything is hallucinogenic, like, I'm not trying to say at no point, like, this is what happened. They'll like, too, that John, has this bits of, like, a real manuscript that was found off the Venezuelan coast.
he never fucking acknowledged that in his script, which blew my mind because I thought that was so cool. But at no point in his script did he mention that manuscript. So I threw that in there because I think that's real cool. And if that actually is something that's found, you can make the argument that Poe wrote something like right before he died and like chucked it in a bottle, and that's fucking awesome. So we're just creating this whole like where you forget what is fact, what is fiction, and it's just this insane temporal historical biopic that's part Last Temptation of Christ, part Amadeus.
And you know what? The Raven makes him out to be like
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock fucking Holmes, dude. Like he's a crime detective or whatever.
Like someone's reenacting his stories and he has to go and track him down because he's so smart and clever.
And there's a serial killer after Edgar Allan Poe. So that's like way out. It's going to be very interesting to see how John Cusack does with the Raven.
Yeah. He's just not a dark actor. I mean, he doesn't have that complexity.
Yeah.